3428 Bonita Woods. Gonna go ahead and do a quick roof inspection. Gonna start here underneath the eaves. We can see that the eaves are boxed in, and what that means is that we see plywood up there, as opposed to starter board and rafter tails. So when we replace a roof, a lot of times there will be rotten starter board and rotten rafter tails that we have to replace. If there has been a little bit of leaking throughout the years, those could be hidden in these boxed in eaves. These are done very nicely, and so this actually looks pretty good. If there are active leaks, then they will show through the paint naturally. Fascia's in great shape. The roof does have drip edge, which is this little piece of metal right here. So that's a good sign. We do notice that there are 2 layers, and previous to, I think the home was a rental for some time, and that's pretty common, is that you're gonna put a new roof on it, but you're gonna keep it as economical as possible. So as opposed to ripping off the old stuff, you add another layer. Not a major issue. Ideally, they would have peeled up the courses around the edges so we can't see 2 layers there. There are little tricks to make it look a little bit more professional when we do an overlay. We jump up on the roof and we've got an architectural asphalt shingle that is in really, really good condition. It looks near new. We look down the rows, and those rows look really nice and straight. That's a great sign, right? We're just kind of evaluating whether or not extra care and attention was used when installing this roof. Next, we look at the shingle stagger. Okay, so it's hard to know exactly where the seams are. Each of these shingles is basically 3 feet long. That's a seam, that's a seam, that's a seam. So that's what we call the stagger. Those staggers should be a minimum of 6 inches apart from each other, and those look to be 6 inches. So that's a good sign. All the flashings are new. They're all painted and they're all properly installed. That's a good sign. The ridge caps look great. We don't use Valley metal, but it's perfectly acceptable and it will last a long, long time. The gas line on the roof is a little bit of a bummer, but with vaulted ceilings, there's nowhere else for it to go when you add gas after the fact, and so that's why it was done that way. Totally acceptable, and actually, the fact that it's got a little piece of 2x4 underneath there means that it is to code. Tough to waterproof that long term. That's something that, as long as that gas line is on this roof, you probably want to come back and recaulk that every, couple of years, 3 to 5 years. And what else? Okay, so we replaced these 4 skylights, and I do remember them being a challenge. And I don't remember, there's like an extra piece that's been added underneath there. And I don't know if we did that or if the folks that you bought the house from did that. Also, some of the shingles are mangled. I hope we didn't do that, leave it that way. But all in all, these look pretty darn good. You can see some of the shingles look slightly different. There used to be a fireplace right here, a chimney, and it was all rotten. We kind of redid it, but now it's been deleted as the walls came down. This is probably the funkiest thing on the roof, and so definitely before I put any solar up here, I would want to get this done better. So as we look around the roof, right, once the roof gets hot, the shingles stick to themselves, and now water, even if it were wind driven, would not get up there. If we come and look at these have never stuck themselves back down, and so this would definitely be the first place that this roof leaks. So I think I'm 99% confident in putting solar up here, as long as I take care of that little area, and then this appears to be a fluke over here. I'm not certain what's going on. This is a nail popped back up through the top layer. It's right where it should be, but for whatever reason, it's backing out and it's created a hole. And when I find one of those, I start to look around to see if I find more, if I'm really nitpicking a roof. And I haven't necessarily found any more of those, which is a good sign. Means that hopefully this is few and far between. There's one little funky thing right here. It's as if they shingled from different ends, and this is where they met. And for some reason, it didn't line up perfectly. So most roofs aren't perfect. All those are pretty common and should not affect the longevity of this roof too much at all. Skylights look to be in great shape. So just a couple minor things.